From the great outdoors of Alabama comes the Bama Backroads podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. Bama Backroads podcast. Got my buddy Lee Pitts with me, but before I bring Lee in, I want to give a shout out to all our followers and our listeners. And we really appreciate you guys listening. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio, we really appreciate it. If you haven't followed us, please hit that follow button and you won't be notified when a new episode drops. And if you have a question or anything for anybody here, me, Lee, Rodney, or Rusty Burrows, just shoot us an email at thebackroadsinfo@gmail.com. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a review or a rating. We'd appreciate any feedback you can give us. And with that being said, I want to bring in the legend of Cedar Bluff, Alabama, the one and only Lee Pitts.
All right. What's going on, guys?
What's happening?
Man, I tell you what, I'm sitting here a little cold. We had a rainstorm hit us. I just now got off the water, and a little cold this afternoon.
Man, it poured over here.
We kind of dodged them. It was some of those hit and miss little storms that came up and down the Coosa River, and it was I could kind of outrun them a little bit, but when it got time to come on to the house, we had to drive right through the middle of one of them to load the boat up. So, we were lucky for a little bit, and then it knocked us out.
Well, Neely Henry, like you said the other, what'd you call that, a toad strangler?
Yeah. Old toad strangler.
We had one of those.
That's some of that Forrest Gump rain. It was some of that sideways rain, straight up and down rain,
stinging
and rain from down under.
Hey, you like that movie, don't you?
I seem to. I can kind of reflect and get some of my own feelings from some of that movie.
It's a life lesson movie for sure.
Well, I look at some of and my wife says the stupid crap
that
they do, yes. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of I do a lot of that same stupid crap.
Well, the stupid movies own me, but my wife won't watch them. She goes, "That's stupid. I'm not watching that."
Well, my deal is, and I've got a buddy of mine. I love it. And I can retain worthless knowledge. Okay, I can. We can go through. Somebody asked me about a song in the '70s, song in the '80s, whatever. I can tell you the name of the band, tell you what song it was, tell you this, and that. I have worthless knowledge, but all the stupid humor movies, the Adam Sandlers, the Caddyshack, the just all kind of stuff. Me and my buddy, we have our own lingo. We'll just like Step Brothers, Talladega Nights, this, and that. We'll carry on a whole conversation just throwing feedback, and my wife will shake her head and just walk off and said, "You have your own language. You two will carry on a full conversation and never really say anything but what's it called? Excerpts when you
excerpts, yeah.
And she said, y'all will bounce back and forth like you're volleying in a tennis match. I'm like, man, it's a gift. What do you do? It's a gift.
That's true. That is a gift. Yeah. I can do it a little bit, but I'd get beat 40-love in that little deal there.
We'll kick it back and forth in front of people, and you can see they're looking at us like, what are they talking about?
If you've seen the movies, you see, I throw some of this out at work sometimes. In certain situations, I'll throw something out from Step Brothers or Talladega Nights, and the ones that have seen it and get it, it's funny. But the guys who haven't seen it, they have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll do a lot of this, with several of different companies and different people I work with, and we do these live deals, and I'll throw something at them and they'll go, yeah, okay, and all right there, Lee, all right, and they're not getting it. And the people that are listening to us going, oh my God, I got it, and so we don't we don't really have a kicking back and forth on it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you either get it or you don't. There's no in between on it. Hey, I know you want to give a shout out to some guys, so the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, you got to refresh my memory.
Well, your Okeechobee guys.
Oh man, you're talking about Stan and Kenny.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, these guys right here, they come up and see me here in Cedar Bluff, Alabama. They listen to us all the time. And when you were saying that, I thought, oh my God, what are you talking about? But no, these are my buds right here, man. They always listen to our episodes, and they call my buddy Bob. All these guys, they've been raised together in Okeechobee, and they listen to our podcast, and they kind of get our humor. They get our kickbacks on this kind of stuff, and they have a little group. They get together and they hang out and have a cold beer, some tasty ways, and hang out and listen to us talk. So, Stan and Kenny, thank you for always listening to us. Appreciate it. Bob, thank you.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. Well, you know, they what they're doing is they're listening for you.
Now, I don't know about that. I think they like the way we throw things back and forth.
But we do appreciate them listening. Look, you know, we were talking earlier because we don't do a real serious pre-show meeting, you know, so I kind of caught Lee off guard with that a little bit. But,
yeah. A lot of times we'll talk through the day, and then, man, I'm kind of like a turkey. You know, I get out there and it's like I wake up in a different world every day.
Well, you know, our pre-show meeting really entails what we had for lunch. Did we catch any fish? And were there any hot chicks down at the tackle store? I mean, that sums it up. We want to be serious about it.
Well, and for one, you saying that, I've got to go ahead and say this. All you ladies out there that are listening to this, I hope you change your ways, but there's never any hot chicks at the tackle store. Hey, give me 3 cans of mealworms and some of those red wigglers, and yeah.
Well, I was wondering if you was going to call me out on that because
yeah, never. So don't worry. If your husband says he's hanging out at the bait store, you're good.
Where'd y'all meet? we made down at Ray's Tackle Shop.
Yeah. My God, I've heard about that place. They got that nice. I don't even know what you call it. What do them women go to get their nails done, their toes done, all that kind of stuff?
The Oriental establishments.
Not a tackle shop. Okay.
Yeah, not a tackle shop. They're next door. They're next door to the tackle shop. Yeah. Now we have had a few come in, but it's very few and far between, and they're usually looking for something for their husband. So that's a killer right there. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate that. Okeechobee's a pretty good place to fish, isn't it?
Man, I'll tell you what, we used to with FLW and even our BASS tournaments there. It was always Okeechobee is a place. When I was a kid, I would watch the Roland Martin TV shows. I would watch some of these other, they had like country music stars, Bobby Bear, and some of the older guys going out with some guys there. I thought, oh my God, one day I'll be able to go there. I'll get to go. Never thought it would really happen, but when we used to fish with FLW, we would kick off every year that late December, January, we would kick off at Okeechobee. So, man, I got to go to these places and just, so much with our fishing and even our hunting destinations. It's more or less places and things that we've seen as a child and seen as our adolescence that one day I'll get to go there. It's just kind of some of the opportunities I've had have allowed me to go to some of the places as a child I've always dreamed of going.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't really remember some of the outcomes of them, but I do remember just first seeing that big body of water, first going out of I've been out of Okeechobee up at the top. I've been out of Coosa. I've been out of some of these places, and just getting to run some of the things that you seen on TV all your life, fishing some of these places and going, even Santee Cooper, some of these big places. I've been pretty blessed on what I've got to do and what has been allowed for me to do in the lifestyle that I lead.
That's awesome, man. But I was reading something on, I believe it was on Wire to Fish, and they had a tournament there. I think it was last weekend. I'm not 100% sure on that.
2 weekends ago.
Okay.
2 weekends.
Okay.
Because I know what you're talking about. We did not talk about this, but I know what you're talking about.
Where they had like 20, 30-pound bags.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. How would you like to be the guy that came in with 30 pounds and you're not in the top 10?
You didn't get a check.
I mean, come on. What does that say about the fishery that you're in? Oh, my God.
That is crazy.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and you're talking about this. We fished our ABT last weekend at Pickwick, and I knew I'm in the position right now that I'm kind of jockeying to try to get what I can to try to make the championship at the end of the year. And I knew I had to have at least probably, mid-pack range to get my points up for this next one to make the championship. And so I had 4 days of practice, and the fishing was tough there. If you sat down on fish, you caught them, but it was a short-lived little deal that had a shad spawn. You had to hit that shad spawn right. I fished 4 days in practice. I caught one bass.
God.
One. And I'm down and out. And the guys, we had a good group of guys that we all, when we go, we do these, what are they called? It's not I want to say bed and breakfast, but it's them VROBs or whatever. You rent a house.
Yeah.
And so we'll have probably 6, 8, 10 of us in there. We're just jam-packed like it's a fraternity house. But, it's fun. We get to fellowship. We all fish. We fish hard. We got our boats out there. And I told them the last day of practice, we got rained out. And I came in. And I said, I'm going to tell you something. And we're all of us are struggling. And I said, if I catch one fish to weigh in, here's what I'll do. I'll get on stage and I'll give you one of the old 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! And so I come in and we had a fog delay. We got set up. I couldn't get on some of the fish I wanted to. Wound up catching 4. Couldn't ever get my 5th fish. When I went in to weigh in, I told Luke Duncan was our commentator or whatever you say, the announcer or whatever. And we were laughing and cutting up. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a man of my word. I told all my bunch, if I caught one and got to come on stage, I was going to give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Here we go. Pop, pop. Woo.
And I can attest.
Everybody just rolled.
That I saw it live.
And I said, I survived this thing. I'm getting out of here alive. I'm going to the house.
Well,
so
like I told you, I thought you won the damn thing because I'm sitting there. I can't turn the volume up because I'm at work. Yeah. But I can watch it. So I'm watching. And I
think I gave him a double woo.
And
because I was so excited that and I had 2 or 3 other bites that just I got on the shad spawn that morning. I had a fog delay, and what happened, I sat on a place where I knew fish were just because of the shad spawn, but the fog was so thick when I sat down and I had a GPS, I turned on it. I was in the bend of the river, and about 4 boats came by me, and it was like flies. Jump, 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 and they didn't see me until they were almost past me. And I told my partner, I said, hey, man, we got to get on the bank. We're going to get killed out here. So the first hour of a shad spawn, I had to lose just because I could not sit in that bend with the boat traffic.
Right.
And so when I heard it slow down, I could finally get out there. I had what I had in 40 minutes, and then that was about it. But I would much rather, hey, I'm going to tell you something. That Falcon I'm running with my Mercury on the back of it, my hummingbirds and all that, I don't want to get her wadded up. So I did what I needed to be safe, and that's the thing. Maybe I could have got a bite or two earlier sitting in that fog, but with that boat traffic, I wasn't going to do it.
No, I've seen the result of boats hitting each other, and it never works out well.
When you wrap fiberglass together running 50, 60 miles an hour, it's not pretty.
No.
And I will, back in the day, hey man, we both been athletes. I would still like to think that I could get it, but I'm not diving out of boats. I'm not going under. Used to, I'd be up in tree stand, think, well, if something happened, I could jump to this tree and grab a hold of it and slide down it. No, I've learned that. I got those days this fall. No, I can't do it no more.
But like I said, when I was watching it, I saw you clap, your hands go up, and I've seen that before. But it was a couple years ago when you were on Neely Henry and you won that tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
I felt on this,
holy shit!
The way I felt on this, I was sick of death because I fished 4 days and caught one fish. So I thought, man, I have busted this thing.
So it kind of busted my bubble a little bit that it was just a clap, Ric Flair.
Hey. Woo!
There you go.
2 claps for Ric Flair.
I was thinking, hey, Lee Pitts won this joker.
Listen, I won't say any names on this, but I was at Neely yesterday, and I went to Academy after I got through. I had to get some stuff, just some, Academy's a place you go get all your stuff you need.
Right.
And when I was in there was a lady checking out, and she turned around and looked at me, and she said, "You're Lee Pitts, aren't you?" And I thought, oh, God. I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She said, "My husband fishes the ABT. You weighed in right before him, and I saw you." And she said, "I got it." See, some of these younger people don't know even who Ric Flair is.
No.
And she said, we laughed. She said, we were at home with our kids, and we were watching my husband about to weigh in, and you did the 2 claps and the Ric Flair. She said, "I got it." We were dying laughing. And I said, "Well, thank you. I'm glad I could be of a, somewhat humorous on that deal right there."
That is funny, man. That's the fact that but you're a man of your word. You said you were going to do it, and you got it.
That's what I told them, because for one, we're rooming at Wheeler. The next one, I don't want them to give me a hard time, so I did it.
No, you'll be a hero now. If Lee Pitts says he's going to do something, by God, he's going to do it, no matter how crazy it is.
I may embarrass everybody, but I'll do it.
Would you have done that if Laura had been there?
Well, yeah. If I'd have done the 2 claps, she'd probably jumped up and did it with me. Woo!
That's hilarious. Well, hey, we got to give a shout out to our boy from Sylacauga. Won the Whataburger Bassmaster Elite on Lake.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Will Davis Jr.
How about that, man? He brought it home. He kept it right here in Alabama.
Well, I was watching it, and I saw where he was throughout the whole thing, and Brandon, how you say his last name? Palnick?
Palnick, yeah.
He pretty much led.
Or if you're from Southern Alabama, Palnick.
Paula. It looks like almost Paula Nuke.
Yeah.
Maybe that Alaskan never mind. But Jason Christie was, caught that 9.4, which that's a big one on Lake.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. That's a big fish anywhere.
Yeah.
But when you catch them and it's not your Chickamaugas, your Gunnersville, your Santees, Okeechobee. That's a freaking giant. I mean, that really right there, you don't get no better.
But I mean, that's kudos to Will, man. Will's been, his daddy owns Davis Baits in Sylacauga, and very, very nice man. Met him many times. Remember Will when he was a teenager, and him and I just know him as Mr. Davis. I don't know his first name, but I remember them. He'd tell me, I got to go fish with my son, and I mean, away they went. So they, kudos to him getting that. That's a big win for him, and congratulations.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, congratulations. And like I said, a fine ambassador of the sport, a fine role model for the younger guys, and plus for Alabama, we're proud of him.
That's damn right we are. Damn right. Well, all right, Lee. I got a couple of questions that came in over or email. These are both for you, as usual. First one comes from Brian from Bessemer, Alabama.
Hey, Brian!
Says, I'm trying to learn how to, of course, I narrow these down. I don't read verbatim what they have said, but I narrow them down a little bit. I'm trying to learn how to use a Carolina rig. Any tips you can give me that would help?
Okay, then tell me that again. I had some disturbance.
Okay, phone issues again.
Phone issues.
I got you. All right, so I'm trying to learn how to use a Carolina rig. Do you have any tips you can give me that would help?
Yeah, and this is from my point of view on a Carolina rig. Okay, so bear with me on this. I will come back. Try not to use it at all if possible, because in my mind, I won't go into that. Anyway, some places that Carolina rig does come into play. I'm a flipper. I'm a power fisherman. If I'm throwing a Carolina rig, I'm in trouble. I like more opportune power fishing, but there is a place for a Carolina rig. Tennessee Riverways is very, very good when fish are in a non-responsive, don't want to chase, don't want to jump on anything or run anything down. I would rather throw a crankbait, but the Carolina rig does come into play. A lot of guys will put 3-4 foot leader on them. I like to neck it down a little bit to a 2.5 to maybe 3 at max. And the reason being is it's a whole lot easier to throw when you've got that, the shorter leader. A long leader, you really, really got to be where you can kind of whip it around your head, do it like a lasso and throw it out. But I like to put a barrel swivel on there with some of those clacker beads. That way, when you got your weight up front, a bead behind it, tie it to a barrel swivel. That'll stop your line twist. Also have sometimes you'll go with a smaller, maybe if you're throwing 17-pound, 15-pound test, go to a 10, 12 on your leader. It'll help that bait kind of free fall better. I'll use more of a 3/0 hook instead of a 5, something like that, to give it more a natural approach. I like my lizards, my big plum worms, your old monsters, something like that. If you're on the Coosa chain, more of a Zoom 6-inch trick worm, even some of the small finesse worms. Depending on what you're looking for, what you're doing, if you're in current or whatnot, there's a whole lot of variables to that. But it's just something slow. Hop it up, let it free fall, let it do its thing, let it work in that current. And when it hits, hey, man, reel down to it, load up on it, and just kind of swing it. I don't like to set it straight up. Give it a swing to the side, and you can bring her on in.
Very good. Well, there you go, Brian. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to email us. All right, question 2, and this comes from Stan in Sandy Springs, Georgia. So, would you like? I can't read now. He wants to come to fish the Coosa in June, but he's not sure what lake is best for June bass fishing.
With the Coosa Trail of Lakes, Weiss, Neely, Logan Martin, Lay, all of them are going to fish about the same. Lay is going to have a little bit more in your summertime, some deeper grass beds. It's going to have more of your, can continue with your buzzbait type shallow stuff because they've got more cover. But most of them, you're looking at something, buzzbaits in the morning, around the edges of the grass bed, seawalls. If you've got with our willow flies and mayflies and things like that, if they're hatching, you can throw a poplar, spook, a little buzzbait around these seawalls. But then you're going to back out and you're fishing that secondary points, wood cover, docks, 3, 5, 6 foot, things like that's what you're going to look for.
Well, I hope that helps, Stan. Sandy Springs, Georgia. We appreciate the email.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, man, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're getting a little feedback here. I mean, this is a banner day for us. Because this is episode 10.
We've reached a milestone.
Yeah, we made it to 10.
Wow.
If you
thought you'd fired me about 4. I really thought, man, hey, he's going to say, okay, this dude right here, he got to go.
I can't fire the talent. The talent fires me.
Yeah, whatever.
All you got to do is call your agent, and I'm out of here.
Oh, we can do that?
Yeah.
I ain't got one, so I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, did you hear about the those Ohio Walleye cheaters? You know, the guys in that tournament that stuffed the weights in their fish. They caught them. What was that, back in the fall?
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. I think I saw some footage on that.
Yeah, that was crazy. Those guys better be glad those guys didn't take justice in their own hands. But here's they found them guilty, and they were sent to jail for 10 days. And you can debate whether or not that's enough, but they are ordered to pay a $2,500 fine. Each of it says boat, but I think they meant boats, was forfeited. And it says that.
Oh, well, so like they confiscated their boats?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it says they're valued at more than $130,000. So, 130,000 times 2, that's a chunk of change.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, not times 2, I'm sorry, divided by 2. That's a chunk of change. I mean, if you got that kind of money to be able to buy a fishing boat, why do you feel the need to cheat people out of money?
I just don't get it, man. I mean, and a lot of it is from you and I both, our competitive days as athletes. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't see any kind of satisfaction you could get knowing that you had not been, I guess you say, on the up and up and done it.
Done it the right way.
You have not competed in a way that to get the satisfaction, and that's why I do what I do. I mean, I love competing. I love the the sport of it. I love the guys that I compete against. It's like a ball team, or we're competing against the same bunch of guys, and those days when it's your day, man, it's the satisfaction you get out of it, and winning and doing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
said,
and most of your smaller things, you're just swapping money anyway. You know what I mean?
right, right. That's what I don't understand is.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I won the last 2 weeks, and now I got beat these 2 weeks, so we're even.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
I don't know. I just don't understand that kind of mentality. I mean, how
Yeah.
do you go to bed at night and is this the type of people that go to bed at night laughing? I got that money, and instead of going, man, I had a great day. The Lord was with me today. I caught a bunch of great fish and I won.
No, like I said, that is how a sportsman looks at it. That's how your honest, true sportsman, your bass fisherman should think about it. But some of these guys that, you hate to say it, but you bring crookedness, that's how they probably live their everyday life.
That's sad.
Yeah, everything they do is crooked. So why not have that be crooked too?
Yeah, that's sad. I can't imagine living like that. But
and really, and that's the whole thing. People like us, we can't imagine that. We can't. We look back and say, man, I mean, why would you? Why would you? What? I mean, But
yeah,
but that's just it. We don't look at things like, there's different mindsets that different people have different mindsets.
you're right. And that,
You know?
but that's anyway. But they also are on 18 months of probation, which too, that's a felony if I'm not mistaken. So they're
I think on stuff like that, it's theft by deception,
yeah.
and then they have, I think, other fines that go along with it.
Well, they had their license suspended for 3 years, and people like that, they're going to fish anyway. They don't care.
Yeah,
Suspend my
it's
license. That's like an alcoholic getting his license revoked. He don't care. He's going to drive anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. Yeah, they're convicted felons now. Uh, if they get a job, try to get a job. That's on their rap sheet. And any quick internet search, they're not going to be allowed on any ramp. But the thing about that, who's going to take time to look? Unless they know them. They go across state lines and fish in another state. Nobody know who they are.
They had, and I don't want to bring any names up again, but I remember a guy that was fishing. He was fishing some really, really, and this walleye deal may have been a national deal, but this guy was fishing FLW and some big events. And what you got to look at, they had an elaborate little scheme set up with a box that they put out on around docks or wood cover or something like this. That was a spring loaded deal. I won't go much into it, but what you got to think of, look at the guys that he beat through a year or two process, that these guys came in second. Realistically, they won, but just think what it would have helped their fishing career with some wins.
Sure. Yeah.
Just think what they could have went on to do. Just think how it could have benefited their families and helped their families with them growing in the sport. And then you got some guys that, they're over, they're done. But you just got to kind of look at. There's a whole lot more to it that I think a lot of people don't think about, the trickle effect of who all else. Not just it hurts a lot of individuals, but it hurts the whole sport.
Do y'all at the ABT? Do they give y'all, if y'all win? Do they give y'all a lie detector?
Oh yeah, we do polygraphs. It's for both contestants, and then they'll do polygraphs down the line a little bit and around them, I think. So, used to everything we fished, you had first place automatically. You had polygraph, and then I think first, second, third got pollock grouse, and then maybe one other. It may be fifth, sixth, it may be fourth, it may be, you don't know. You had a random.
Yeah. I wonder if that's how they caught these guys.
I don't know. It could have been something. I'm not really sure on that. It's just you would really, really think, and that's what just blows my mind. I mean, I come home sometimes, and hey, I've had tournaments that, man, I've zeroed, and you tell me hurting your pride, and at the level I'm fishing and the guys that I'm fishing against, and you come in there and you zeroed one, you got to suck it up, man. I mean, you got to, and the thing about it is, even this last one, you saw me go up there and do my little clap or whatever. The people that help me and support me, I'm going to walk across that stage. It's easy when you got 20 plus pounds and you think you're going to win to go across that stage and represent the people that help you and let their names be seen. But when you walk up there with one fish or no fish,
that's tough.
I'm still putting that jersey on, and I'm going across that stage because the people that help me, I appreciate them so much. They're going to be seen. Any opportunity I have, that their companies, their logos, their name is going to be seen. Whether I'm just got skin up and it's humiliating, they still going to get seen.
Well, and that's the way it should be. Not everybody, only one person can win. It's not like a team event. Even though that, in the ABT, y'all have partners, it's still mostly an individual contest. And, so that decreases the chance of victory, other than like a football team.
Yeah.
When 53 of y'all are going to win, and in this, it's just, one and sometimes two.
Right.
So,
but it's kind of like Reese Bobby said, hell, you ain't always got, if you're not first, you're last. Who said that? You can be fifth, sixth, you can be 10th. Come on, Ricky.
I freaking love that saying. Come on, Ricky. You're not first, you're last.
I've lived my whole life on that. Well, that's stupid. You can be fifth. You can be it. Come on, Ricky.
The look on the kid's face when he says it, it's like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But Lee, I appreciate it. I need to let you go. I know you're an early to bed man, and it's time for you to head that way. But I just appreciate you being on.
My wife says I get silly when I get tired.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's to our benefits. But look, you good luck this weekend. I know you got a tournament this weekend. Go out there and give them hell. And again, we appreciate you being on.
Man, thank you. Like I said, it's always a pleasure, and I enjoy talking to you. And that's just really talking about the outdoors and talking about being on the water and being in the woods. Man, that's just one of those things that a lot of people. I'm blessed. I'm really, really blessed. I get to be on this lake most every day, and usually when I'm not out there on that water, I'm out there in the woods doing something. So I really am blessed, and I like to talk about the outdoors and everything we have to offer here.
Well, I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you. Hopefully I'll have some good news this weekend.
That sounds good. We're praying for you.
Hey, I'm gonna do my part. They just gotta open that mouth and eat.
That's right.
I know where they're supposed to be. They may not read the script, but I know where they're supposed to be.
Hey, I'm telling you, most of the time they don't, but there's always that one day.
I had a guy tell me one time, we were sitting there, man, I said, this time of year, they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that. They ought to be sitting on this. He said, hey, man, they might not read them magazines you read.
They don't get Bassmaster. All right, buddy. Good luck. Talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
All right. Well, guys, appreciate you listening into the show again. If y'all don't mind, if y'all, whatever y'all medium y'all listening to us on, if y'all hit that like or share button or follow or whatever it happens to be, there's so many out there. I can't keep up with what buttons to push, but just want to say thanks from me and Lee and Rodney and Rusty, and we really do appreciate you guys spending your time with us. Time is very valuable, and that's not something you can get back. So when y'all spend it listening to us, and we're very thankful for it. Again, questions or comments, please hit us at thebackroadsinfo@gmail.com, and we will see y'all and talk to y'all next week. Thanks.